You know what's wild? We learned about World War I, World War II, the Napoleonic Wars, but nobody tells you about the time Britain went to war for 38 minutes, or when an entire country lost a military campaign against birds. Yeah, you heard that right. Birds! These are the three most absurd conflicts in human history. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll realize that truth is way stranger than fiction. The 38-minute war. Let's start in 1896, off the coast of East Africa. There's this beautiful island called Zanzibar, and Britain just decided one day, that's ours now. Classic colonial move. They turned it into a British protectorate and installed a sultan. Basically a puppet ruler who would smile, wave at the locals, and do exactly what London told him to do. Now, Britain had one major demand: end the slave trade. Zanzibar's entire economy ran on it, so this wasn't exactly a popular request. But when the British Empire tells you to do something, you don't really get to negotiate. Everything is running smoothly until August 25, 1896, when things get spicy. The current sultan, Britain's obedient little puppet, mysteriously dies, poisoned most likely. And guess who's responsible? His cousin, a guy named Khalid bin Bargash. He immediately declares himself the new sultan and barricades himself inside the royal palace. Here's the problem. Khalid despises the British. He's a huge fan of keeping slavery around, and he's absolutely not interested in being anyone's puppet. The British are like, yeah, that's not gonna work for us. Step down or we're declaring war. And Khalid, this madman, looks at them and says, go ahead, declare war. So Britain does exactly that. Khalid scrambles together 3,000 defenders, sets up some artillery around the palace, and prepares to die defending his claim to the throne. His navy consists of exactly one ship, his personal yacht. That's it, one yacht. The British show up with 5 warships. We're talking the HMS Raccoon, Thrush, Sparrow, St. George, and Philomel. These aren't pleasure boats. These are fully armed naval battleships. The British commander basically gives Khalid one last chance. Look, mate, you can surrender right now and we'll all walk away from this. Nobody has to die. Khalid responds, you wouldn't dare actually attack. Oh, but they would. At 9:02 a.m. on August 27th, the British fleet opens fire. 38 minutes later, the palace is in ruins. Khalid's yacht is at the bottom of the harbor, and around 500 of his defenders are dead. Khalid himself escapes through a back exit and flees to the German consulate. The British install a new puppet sultan, this time a guy who definitely knows better than to challenge 5 warships with a yacht, and just like that, the shortest war in recorded history is over. 38 minutes. That's less time than it takes to watch an episode of a TV show. When Australia lost to birds. Okay, now let's talk about something even dumber. Australia versus emus. If you don't know what an emu is, picture a 6-foot-tall angry dinosaur that runs at 30 miles per hour and has absolutely zero chill. They've got razor-sharp claws, they travel in massive groups, and they're smart, which makes them terrifying. After World War I, the Australian government gave farmland to returning veterans. These guys had just survived the trenches, so farming seemed like a nice, peaceful retirement plan. Except Australia had other ideas. In 1932, a massive drought hits, and suddenly 20,000 emus migrate into Western Australia looking for food and water. And where do they go? Straight onto these veterans' farms.
Imagine you're out there planting wheat, minding your own business, when a literal tidal wave of giant birds stampedes through your property. They're eating your crops, trampling everything, destroying your fences, and leaving holes that let rabbits and other pests flood in to finish off whatever's left. The farmers are furious. They petition the government. We fought in the war. We know how to handle this. Give us machine guns. And the government says, you know what? Sure, let's make it official. Enter Major G.P.W. Meredith and 2 soldiers armed with Lewis machine guns. The Great Emu War officially begins on November 2nd, 1932. Day 1, they spot a group of about 50 emus near the town of Campion. They open fire. The emus scatter in every direction at high speed, and only a handful actually get hit. Turns out, emus are fast. A few days later, they try ambushing about 1,000 emus near a watering hole. The plan is to wait until they're all grouped together and then unleash hell. This goes exactly as you'd expect. They kill about 12 birds before the machine gun jams and the rest sprint away. Next strategy? Chase them down in a truck. This goes exactly as you'd expect. The bumpy dirt roads make it impossible to aim, and somehow the emus are faster than the truck. Major Meredith later reports, and this is a real quote, that the emus face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. The newspapers have an absolute field day. Headlines around the world mock Australia for losing a war to flightless birds. It's humiliating. After weeks of failure, the military pulls out. The government switches strategies and starts offering bounties to civilians. Over the next 6 months in 1934, more than 57,000 emu bounties get claimed. But here's what actually solved the problem. Better fences. Not machine guns, not military tactics, just slightly improved fencing that kept the emus out. The lesson? Sometimes brute force isn't the answer. Sometimes you just need better boundaries. The war over a chair nobody could sit on. Final story. Let's head to West Africa, to the Ashanti Empire, modern-day Ghana. The Ashanti people have this incredibly sacred object called the golden stool. According to legend, it descended from the heavens in a cloud of white dust and landed in the lap of the first Ashanti king. It's believed to contain the soul of the entire nation, everyone living, everyone who's died, and everyone yet to be born. It's so sacred that nobody sits on it, not even the emperor himself. It's a symbol, not furniture. In 1900, Britain conquers the Ashanti and turns them into a colony. They sent a governor named Frederick Hodgman to run things. Hodgman shows up and immediately makes the dumbest mistake imaginable. In front of Ashanti leaders, he says, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Hey, where's that fancy golden chair you guys have? I want to sit on it. Then I'm sending it to Queen Victoria so she can sit on it because she's your ruler now." Dead silence. The Ashanti don't argue. They don't explain. They just go home and prepare for war. Thousands of Ashanti warriors lay siege to the British fort. The War of the Golden Stool kills over 1,000 British soldiers and several thousand Ashanti fighters. All because one idiot governor wanted to park his butt on a sacred object he knew nothing about. Even after the war, the British spent 20 years searching for the golden stool. The Ashanti had hidden it so well that it seemed lost forever. Then in 1921, some railway workers accidentally find it, strip off the golden ornaments, and try to sell them. The Ashanti demand the death penalty. The British step in and exile the workers instead. But the stool, it was never handed over. To this day, it remains one of the most protected artifacts in Ghana.